Welcome back. All right, so just the 4 games tonight in the NHL, just the one board. And so, yeah, teams that were on the road won 3 out of 4. So, again, if you paid a lot of money to go see a game tonight, you were probably disappointed. So, apologies. So we'll go ahead and we'll start things off with Boston and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So back-to-back meetings. Um, I thought Boston played well at points. I thought Columbus played well at points. So it's Ullmark versus Merzlikins. Nyquist is denied on a face-off win early. DeBrusk has a chance that's kicked aside. And then at 4:31, it's a rush goal, top shelf, third shot. It's Bemstrom from Voracek. So Columbus opens the scoring. Columbus presses for another. The Bruins get a power play. It quickly becomes a 4-on-4. Danforth has a rush chance that's saved and held. Everything gets killed off there. Shots are 6-4 for Columbus with 8.5 minutes left. This was not a game of a lot of opportunities at this point. It really wasn't. It was kind of slow at parts, and I think that was Columbus's plan. Really take the speed out from Boston, and they did a pretty good job of it at that point. Ullmark holds on a Bemstrom chance in close, so he was going for a second of the game. Bergeron has a tip that's held. There's some pushing and shoving after that. There's more pushing and shoving after another Elvis save. Columbus gets a power play. It becomes a 4-on-3 for 1:58. Bruins do kill all that off, though. Pastrnak has a blast that's saved. And then at 18:32, a breakaway goal is scored by DeBrusk. That's his 20th on the season from McAvoy. So in and around everything that's gone on with DeBrusk and all the talk about will he be traded, won't he be traded, he has 20 goals. He's a very good player, and that's the reason Boston didn't just trade him off for no reason. Now, there was some controversy on this play. Andrew Peeke was down on a hit from Marchand. I've seen it a few times, and I think it's a clean hit. I think because it's Marchand, people will say it's not a clean hit. We'll see what player safety has to say about it. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. Peeke stays in the game, which also makes a difference to Department of Player Safety as he was not injured and didn't have to leave. And in the last minute, there's a press by the Bruins. However, the Bruins take a penalty in the Columbus zone, and Columbus gets the power play. So to start the second period, still tied at 1. Boston finishes the kill. Grzelcyk's stick dies on a chance, and that was noteworthy because that one, if he hits it and his stick doesn't die, odds are it's probably a goal. Bruins get a power play. It was a 4-minute power play. There's a shorthanded rush for Werenski, which is defended, and eventually that penalty kill draws a penalty on the Boston Bruins. So with 2:25 left in their power play, there's 2 minutes of 4-on-4. So that means that after the 4-on-4, they only had 25 seconds on their power play. So everything's killed off there. The shots are 5-2 for the Bruins at 7.5 minutes. None of those shots are on the power play, though. So that's noteworthy. Smith then gives them a lead on a good press by their line here. Coyle and McAvoy with the assists at 7:52. Columbus then presses for an answer. Then there's another press by Columbus. Sullinger's denied there. So down 2-1, Columbus started playing really well. Marchand was in a scrum, and Peake's in there as well. So after the hit, which I know upset some fans, Peeke was clearly upset too. And I don't know that he was trying to get Marchand into a fight or if he was just, trying to stand up to him or whatever it was, but they were at each other quite a bit in this one. So both of the players go to the box, both Marchand and Peeke. Now, if you're Columbus, you take that trade-off. Even though Peake's a defenseman, you're taking Marchand off the ice. So it's 4-on-4, then it becomes a 4-on-3 for Boston. There's a shorthanded chance for Gavrikov. He was robbed. The power play's killed off. Pastrnak has a chance, blocked by Boquist. And then Werenski ties it from Voracek and Laine at 19:44. He wires it. And then Bruce Cassidy challenged for a high stick. And I immediately said, no. I thought at first maybe they saw the puck was offside. So you knock it down with your stick, but if it's not above your shoulder, it's good. And to me, I didn't know whether or not the puck was actually in the zone or outside of the zone when he hit it with his stick. I thought that was the only reason you might want to challenge, if you can see definitive proof that it cleared the zone. But yeah, they review it and they go, there's no conclusive evidence that it was a high stick. There wasn't. So that's a Columbus power play. So to start the third, it's a tie game and Boston's shorthanded. They do finish the kill. There were 3 shots for Columbus during that. Peeke then roughing on Marchand. And again, Marchand really took Peeke out of his game. So there's a Bruins power play there. Then we had 1:14 of 4-on-4 as Pastrnak exits as well. There's a shorthanded chance for Marchand. He can't bury it. It's all killed off. A lot of penalties in this game. Shots are 5-4 Columbus at 8.5 minutes. Coyle was denied, and then Columbus rushes after that. Taylor Hall hits a post. Columbus rushes again. So this is the transition game for Columbus being dangerous. Bjorkstrand's then robbed on a fast break, but nothing settled in the third. We have to go to overtime. Bruins control early. McAvoy can't bury one. Voracek then had a rush opportunity. That fizzles out. The Bruins take control. Lindholm is denied, and then he gets the puck to DeBrusk, who was not. He gets his 21st of the season at 1 minute and 3 seconds. Boston wins this one in overtime 3-2. They go to 44, 20, and 5. The Columbus Blue Jackets are 32, 32, and 6 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one favor Boston the whole way through. 10-9 in the first, 11-5 in the second, and 13-8 in the third, and then all 3 shots in overtime. Final shots 37-22 for Boston. Both teams go 0 for 5 on the power play. I don't think any of those power plays were a full 2 minutes. Hits 24-15 for Columbus. Ullmark saves 20 out of 22. Merzlikins saves 34 out of 37. So for Boston, they get the victory. They keep pace with the Leafs, because we have to talk about that next. And of course, I know there'll be comments about the power rankings. Yes, Toronto moved up. Toronto's been moving up for weeks. Anyway, it's Campbell versus Vasilevsky. Good pace rushes early for both teams. And then on a 2-on-1, on a rush, on the first shot that Toronto gets on the net, they score. It's Engvall from Kampf at 1:59. So Kampf continuing to show why he was a value pickup for Toronto. Cirelli blasts one wide. The Leafs then rush. Kampf fires wide on a 3-on-2. And then on a face-off win in the Toronto zone, Kucherov scores from Stamkos at 6:24. So it's one of those set plays. Not much chance for Campbell on that. Vasilevsky then holds on a Matthews chance. There was a post for Nick Paul. The shots are 5 apiece at 9 minutes. Most of those shots, it felt like, were pretty high quality, though. There's a post then Marner was denied. The Leafs would press. Perry's robbed during a 2-on-1. You get the soup chance out of that. So there were a lot of Leaf fans in the crowd, too. And as the announcer said, it's hard to tell because the jerseys are so similar in color and in design that it could be either. Leafs get a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots allowed. 47.6 seconds left. The Bolts get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period where the Leafs finish the kill. And then shortly after they're done finishing that kill, Matthews scores his 52nd of the season from Bunting and Marner. And so the team record, 54. Rick Vive having that. I've done a video on Rick Vive. And it's nice to see his record is going to fall. So Matthews gets that one. Hall then defends on a Bolts rush, but Ruda would score from Stamkos and Killorn at 5:56. And it was a rough-looking goal, but Campbell didn't see it. It was screened. It did go 5-hole, but there's no way Campbell saw it. So exactly 4 minutes later, Tampa Bay answers and ties up the game. Chernak has a blast that's saved and held. Blackwell then had a rush that was saved. The rebound's cleared, but then Matthews gets his 50-30, tips it in. Nice play by Marner to set that up at 9:53. So suddenly, Toronto's got a lead. And then at 12:25, it's Kerfoot from Brody and Hall. And it went off Vasi, it went off Ruda, it ends up in. Doesn't matter how it gets in. It's just, it got in the net. It's a goal. The momentum's with the Leafs. They press. Vasilevsky denies Bunting on a 2-on-1. It's been a while since Bunting scored. He's going to get goals again. Hagel then defended a 3-on-2. But going into the third, Toronto with a 4-2 lead. And they'd outplayed Tampa. So for Tampa, a team that's been dropping on that power rankings board, they dropped again tonight. Third period, early press by the Bolts. Kampf had a net feed. That was blocked. Clifford can't bury one from in close. Kucherov with a setup, but he can't get the shot off in time. There's a press by the Leafs at 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and they score on it. It's Matthews from Bunting and Marner at 7:08. So that's the hat trick goal. That's the 54th goal. He has tied Rick Vive for the all-time single-season record for Toronto. Not only that, but he takes control of the Rocket Richard race. Now it's up to Draisaitl to answer that, and I'm really happy to see this. This kind of race is great. Post then for Stamkos on a fast break, and then Marner would score from Matthews at 11:24. So that's 6. Engvall's then denied on a rush. Colton couldn't bury one as the Bolts press. I think he had 4 shots on that. I don't think they all counted, but he just kept pegging it away at it. Bolts get a late power play. That was killed off. And guess what? Toronto goes into Tampa and wins 6-2. They go to 45-19-5 with the win. Tampa Bay 43-19-7 with the loss. Shots 14-12 Toronto in the first, 14-11 Toronto in the second. Both teams get 11 shots in the third. Final shots 39-34 for Toronto. Power plays, the Leafs 0 for 1, Tampa Bay 0 for 2. Hits 42-39 for Tampa. The Jack Campbell has been quite the story already. 32 saves on 34 shots. He has his form back. Vasilevsky, 33 saves on 39 shots. Not a great night for Vasilevsky or for Tampa Bay in general. So, big win for Toronto. Tough loss for Tampa. And maybe Boston's going to end up in that one of those top 3 spots after all. And maybe we're destined to get Toronto and Boston yet again. Unless Toronto, who plays Florida tomorrow, chases down Florida and ends up winning the division. But that's still a long shot. That being said, they're in Florida tomorrow. Who knows what'll happen, right? Okay. Next up. Do you play Campbell again tomorrow? Okay. Arizona in against St. Louis. This one was close until it wasn't, really. And it pretty quickly fell apart. So it's Prosvetov versus Husso. Prosvetov's numbers in the AHL, not great. Just not fantastic. And seeing that, I was like, oh, okay. So this could get ugly. And here we go. Schmaltz with a rush. He ends up hitting the outside of the net. I thought about using a Miyagi. Actually, from my Magnets, I thought about using a Miyagi. Of course, the Miyagi thing, if you don't watch Cobra Kai, it's the idea of just its defense and is more of a passive kind of thing. And to me, it felt like St. Louis could have made this a lot uglier than they did. And they kind of let up. So, to me, this could have been a no-mercy game, and it wasn't because, to me, St. Louis kind of let up. But anyways, the shots are 1 apiece at 5 minutes, and that's after the Blues had a power play. Good penalty kill by the Arizona Coyotes. Coyotes forcing turnovers at center. Capobianco's denied on a 2-on-1. Carcone can't bury one on a rush. The shots, though, are 6-4 for the Blues with 8.5 minutes left. Tarasenko can't bury one as the Blues press. Saad with a net feed. That was defended by Arizona. Hayden has a chance that's saved, late push by the Coyotes, and the Coyotes get a power play with 1 minute left. So going into the second period, they have the man advantage. That's killed off. Saad had a rush chance that was saved and held, and then it starts. Barbashev from Rosen and Perron at 2:17, and then Tarasenko from Thomas and Buchnevich at 3:34, and then the Blues press for another. The net's open for business. Arizona's defense that was solid in the first, kind of getting torn apart in the second. We get a power play for the Blues. They score on it. It's Shen from Perron and Leddy at 6:33. The Coyotes try to answer, but they're kept to the outside. They're not given prime chances. I don't even think they got a shot during that press they had. Parayko then has a blast that saved and held. The shots are 9-7 for the Blues with 6 minutes left. I didn't think that told you how this play had been going. I thought more dangerous opportunities for St. Louis, definitely. Coyotes get a power play. During that, a shorthanded goal is scored by Buchnevich from O'Reilly at 14:39, and then the Blues kill the rest. It's 4-0 going into the third, leaving us with one question. Does Husso get the shutout? The shots are 2-0 for the Blues at 2.5 minutes, but on the second shot of the period, it was a rebound. Schmaltz scores from Dineen and Ritchie at 3:09, so Arizona gets on the board. Kyrou tries to answer, misses wide. The Coyotes, good first half, but again, they're down by a lot. Blues overpassing with a 3-goal lead, which may have been in part because they had the 3-goal lead. So this may have been just passing, just looking at the clock and trying to kill it off. That's why I'm saying I think it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Kessel with a fast break. Scandella defends on that. And then Tarasenko on what was a fantastic pass by Thomas. Buchnevich with the other helper at 13:09. Robert Thomas continues to amaze with his ability to pass the puck. And it's 5-1. Michelli then had a rush chance, was saved and held. Hayden had a good shot with 2 minutes left. Husso saved on that one. And your final score is 5-1. St. Louis goes to 39-20-10 with the win. Arizona 22-43-5 with the loss. A 5-1 score definitely helps out St. Louis. They pull a little closer to Minnesota and pull further ahead of Nashville. Shots in this one, 10-7 St. Louis in the first, 14-10 St. Louis in the second. Both teams had 5 shots in the third. Final shots, 29-22 for St. Louis. Power plays, Arizona 0 for 2, St. Louis 1 for 2. The hits also favor St. Louis 22-6. You can tell O'Brien's not in the lineup. There's no physicality right now with Arizona. Also, Krause not in the lineup. Yeah, those are 2 big guys that throw hits. They're not there. Prosvetov saves 24 out of 29. Husso saves 21 out of 22. And yeah, the score definitely reflects things. And as I said, I think St. Louis could have run up the score and they didn't. You guys can let me know if you felt the same way in the third period, like St. Louis kind of lets up a bit. But anyways, and it's not the same as when a team completely collapses and they end up blowing it. This was a case where they played a really smart defensive third period and didn't let Arizona have much. All right, last game, Calgary, LA. I want this in the playoffs. I do. I really want to see this in the playoffs. This could be great. These teams really don't like one another. So it's Markstrom versus Peterson, and Peterson comes out of the net 10 seconds in. Goudreau's like, all right, and he puts it in. So, pretty smart, advantageous move there by Johnny Gaudreau, who's getting closer to that 100-point mark. I hope he eclipses it. He had 99 a few years ago, and it sucks when you see a guy get 99 points and he doesn't get 100. There are players who get to 99 points at least once in their career and never hit 100, and I always felt bad for them. So, Tkachuk's then denied on a rush. Backstrom with a near miss. It's all Flames. This is still in the first minute. The Flames come out and they're swarming, and it looked like it could be a really long, ugly night for Peterson. Byfield gets shaken up, but he skates off. He stays in the game. Kupari can't bury one. The fans wanted a call that the referee didn't give them, but the referee would give them a lot of calls after that. I'm sure if you're a Flames fan, you probably didn't like the officiating tonight, right? Flames press. Peterson covers. The shots are 3-1 for the Flames at 7.5 minutes. Kaliyev fires wide on a rush, and we had 5+ minutes without a whistle, which gave us a false impression for how this game was going to turn out. And then Kempe scores from Kopitar and Iafallo at 13:56. He blasts it right underneath Markstrom's glove, and that makes the score a 1-1. So the Kings, nice comeback after a slow start. Flames press for an answer, and then we get a penalty parade. There's punching, there's pushing, there's shoving, there's accusations of whose mother is what and how big, and it gets ugly from there. So we end up with 7 seconds of 4-on-3 as well, and it's a rough game, and it becomes a 5-on-3, and during the 5-on-3, the Kings score. And it's Kempe, again, from Kopitar and Durzi at 19:06. That was only the 6th shot as well of that period. So the Flames finish off the kill. They don't allow another shot before the period's out, and they kill off the 5-on-4. So it's 2-1 for LA after 1, even though it felt like the Kings were not the better team in that first period. Second period. Flames get an early power play. Gaudreau can't bury one on a net drive. It's killed off. The Flames would press after it was done. Velarde was denied from in close, and we're still seeing scrums on most of the whistles. Again, I want to see these teams play against each other in the playoffs. This felt like a playoff game. So the Kings get a power play. There's a shorthanded rush for Coleman that wouldn't go. That's killed off. Toffoli has a break out of the box. He fires wide. Grundstrom's then denied on a 2-on-1, and Tkachuk tried the Michigan. He got close. It wasn't as well executed. The funny thing is, people see Zegras and Svechnikov doing the Michigan, and they're like, come on, that's cheating. It's not easy. That is not an easy play. And that's why we don't see it very often, and we see guys try it, and there's not a lot of talk about guys trying it because it's not that easy, and it's not successful. In this case, the puck wasn't laying flat, so it didn't have much chance of going in, but Tkachuk tried it. At some point, Matthew Tkachuk's going to score a Michigan. But then Lindholm scores from Gaudreau and Tkachuk at 13:03, so that ties the game. Really strong shift by Calgary to get that. And then Gaudreau scores a little over a minute later from Carpenter and Stone at 14:08. So there was a line change going on, and Carpenter sees Gaudreau there, passes it to him, and Gaudreau wires it. And it was a backhand top shelf, and it was a bit of a turnover, too, where LA couldn't quite get the puck. They couldn't quite get it out, and Calgary makes them pay for it. Moore's then denied in close. The Kings would press, but after the second period, the score's 3-2 for Calgary. Cue up the third. Gaudreau has a wraparound that wouldn't go. Byfield couldn't bury one as the Kings pressure. Kempe's then denied on a turnover opportunity. There's another press by the Kings at 6 minutes, so the Kings didn't go away. They didn't give up, and it was a good period for them. 11:51 left. The Kings get a power play. That was killed off. One shot. Then with 8:17 left, the Kings go back to the power play. That's killed off. And there were 3 shots on that one. But the Flames, the shot blocks on both those power plays, absolutely ridiculous. It looked like maybe Tanev got hurt on one, but it looks like what happened was he had something with his skate. From the looks of it, it looks like it was something with his skate or an equipment issue. So he exits very, very, not for very long, and he's back on the ice. So no big deal. But when you see a big shot blocked by Tanev and he leaves the ice surface and leaves the bench for a bit, that can be concerning. I say that as a Canuck fan. So Kempe can't bury one with 2:20 left, and that one he should have. That should have been in the net. This should have been headed to overtime. So they pull the goalie, and with 2:03 left, there's a 4-minute high sticking call on Tkachuk. There will be Flames fans who say what the Flames announcers said, which was that Iafallo lifts Tkachuk's stick into the face of Danault, and so they reviewed it, and they did uphold the penalty. So I can see why the Flames would be upset with that call. With 1 minute left, the Kings call a timeout, and that was after another scrum. So remember, it's 6-on-4, and Markstrom was kind of in the middle of that scrum too. I agree with Kelly Rudy. Stay out of that. Don't get involved. Kings take a penalty in the closing seconds, so to end it. It was a penalty taken out of frustration. You hold on Lewis, and that's it. So the final score is 3-2 for the Flames. They go to 41, 19, and 9. The Kings drop to 38, 24, and 10 with the loss. Your shots in this one: 13-6 Calgary in the first, 15-13 Calgary in the second, 10-5 LA in the third. Final shots: 33-29 Calgary. Power plays: 0 for 2 for Calgary, 1 for 7 for LA. Hits: 29-27 for Calgary. Markstrom saves 28 out of 30. He was very good in this game. After a second period, or first period I should say, where he allowed 2 goals on 6 shots, he allowed nothing on the final 23 of this game. I guess 24, so that must have been 11 shots in the third, because it's telling me Markstrom had 30 saves. So the app must have just had it not synchronized properly. Anyways, not a big deal. Peterson saves 30 out of 33. After allowing that oops goal 10 seconds in, he was pretty good. But the oops goal ends up being the difference. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below. As always, you'll notice I'm wearing the 1989 patched CCM Flames, because this is the best I've seen the Flames play, and the most convincing I've seen them on a regular basis since '89, and I think it might be more impressive than the run they had a few years ago when they were first in the division and in the conference. And yet they've had a rougher time in some recent weeks, but this game tonight, this felt like a playoff game, and they did well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.